So one of the most anticipated South African films of the year is releasing this weekend. It's called Free State, and it's the story of a forbidden love affair between a white Afrikaans girl and an Indian man in 1979 apartheid South Africa. Now today we're joined by the two leads, South African-born international supermodel and actress Nicola Breytenbach and model and actor Andrew Govender, who also happens to be Mr. South Africa 2012. To both of you, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
I've got to ask you first. I mean, this is an incredible story, and I've watched the trailer, fortunately. We're going to take a look at it right now. But for the two of you, why was it an attractive role for you to take on?
Oh, for so many reasons. It's a story that has to be told. There's been so many stories and films and projects about apartheid that the world has seen everywhere. And a lot of them, and most of them, are very politically orientated. You know, governments and really the upheaving and the riots and a lot of that violent parts that we see. And it's been done a few times. And I think that people, you know, when they hear apartheid, that's what they see. This story is completely different. It's a love story. It's about the real people living in this country during that time and the intercultural differences between them and how they, you know, if you fall in love, what you had to deal with at that time. And it also tells a story about families, different cultures and different families within each other, and how they supported each other, and when something like this happens, how you deal with it as a family and also an individual, which I think is something completely different than anybody's ever seen.
Yeah. And Andrew, how about you? How did you see it, and what made you want to take it on?
So pretty much all of the above. So she kind of took my entire answer over there. But I will say, just being an Indian South African, I mean, we don't really have a lot of movies that get made here about Indian people and Indian culture. And so for me, that was what really interested me to this project, is the fact that, you know, this explores Indian culture. It showcases, you know, what it was like to be an Indian person during apartheid in South Africa in the 1970s. And, you know, I really didn't know a lot about that before. So for me, it was a really educational experience, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely. Now, fortunately, I've seen the trailer before, but let's show everyone at home exactly what it is that we're talking about. Here's a sneak peek at Free State.
Do you remember when I was a little girl and you told me that falling in love was something magical, something you can't control? It just happens.
Wanneer is jy besig? Antwoord my.
Daai Indiër wat jou so mooi gehelp het laas naweek. Hy is toe al die tyd 'n gesoekte terroris.
Let's run away. Let's just get away from here.
And that was a sneak peek at Free State. And, of course, we've got Nicola and Andrew here with us. So I've got to ask you, what was the chemistry like between the two of you on set? I think it must have been quite a lot of fun working together.
Yeah, I mean,
we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We had like a lot of funny moments on the set. You know, I mean, Nicola is a beautiful girl. I remember this one case. I tell a story all the time.
Okay.
But
And this is the story
This
now,
is
the
the
behind-the-scenes
story.
story.
I was.
A true story, behind the scenes.
But
it was in a scene, but behind the scenes. But, sorry,
It's getting confusing already.
Yeah. So back to the story. We were sitting at this lake, and it's like this really intense scene between the two of us, and the sun was setting, and her face was glowing, and I was looking at her eyes, and I was just like really connecting, and I was just really mesmerized by her beauty, and I was sitting there looking at her, and I forgot I was doing a scene. And then she like was whispering these words, "Andrew, it's your line," and then the director's like, "Cut, and it was just, you know. So I mean, like, those are the things that were happening on set,
that
just
was
because.
The particular one. It was a really, and it is a very beautiful romantic scene. So it was good though that way. I mean, it was like I did my lines and I was looking at him too, and then it was like.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll use that shot when you were staring as one of those longing moments, like it was actually true. You were living in it right there. I've got to ask this one last question. I mean, you look at that cast list there, and the legendary Lilith Kumano features there. What was it like working with her? I mean, I remember her from Sarafina days. That is just holy grail stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I got cast in the movie and then I found out she was doing it, I was just like blown away, because, I mean, she's royalty, right? She's South African acting royalty. And so to have the opportunity to be on set with her and to learn from her and to have her mentor me was like pretty incredible. And even Dion Lotz was just a really phenomenal actor.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. We really do appreciate it. So go and check it out. The movie is called Free State, and of course it premieres in South African cinemas this coming weekend. Check it out and let us know what you think, and hopefully we support it enough to make it a box office hit.